Cape Girl here today to do a video all about BJD heights and dimensions and proportions. So in today's video, we are going to go over all the different sizes of BJDs and how that works and how it varies, you know, all that jazz. So today is going to be a fun informational video, so stay tuned for more. Alright everyone, let's get started. So today I am in my new bedroom, so I do apologize if it's a bit echoey. I'm gonna possibly try to fix that, and today's video will be edited, so hopefully I can cut out any awkward things just to keep it very, you know, fluid. And just, not fluid, like fluent, keep it going, you know, all that. So yeah, let's get started. First, we're going to go over the basic information on BJD sizes. So there are four BJD sizes. There is the little size, which are called minis, like just super duper small. Tinies, that's normally what they're called. I think there are 1/12 size, so 1/12, and then it goes up to YOSD, and that is also known as 1/6 size, and they vary in heights between 25 and 27 centimeters. Now, of course, all this will vary as to what a BJD artist considers to be a YOSD, MSD, or SD, but these are typically the ranges that they fall into. But it does also certainly rely on their proportions and how that works. So yeah, let's keep going. So then the next size up after YOSDs, so like I call it like the middle size, medium, MSDs, that's kind of what I call them, medium, MSDs, to me it fits. MSDs are also 1/4 scale, which varies in sizes, between 1/4 girls, which are 40 to 43 centimeters, and 1/4 boys, which are 42 to 45 centimeters. These are the dolls that I mainly own. I personally like that size the best. I will try to compare them to possibly a Monster High doll or a Barbie, but yeah. After that, then we have SDs, which are the largest scale of dolls, which is very big. Some of them get pretty big, honestly, and they vary in sizes in many ways. So there could be a 1/3 girl, so an SD girl, which is oftentimes 57 to 60 centimeters, a 1/3 boy, which is 60 to 63 centimeters, a 65 centimeter girl, which varies in 62 to 65, which doesn't make sense, because you're literally a 65 centimeter girl, but you vary in size. Like, what? You should just be 65 centimeters. Anyways, that's my tangent. And then uncle size, which is like the biggest one, they're also just called 70 centimeters. They vary between 65 to 72 centimeters, and sometimes they get even bigger. Sometimes they're up to like 80 centimeters, so they're pretty much the size of a small child. So yeah, now we're gonna go to like what portions of my groups are what. So this little girl down here is Emma. She is a YOSD, and then everyone from Blaze all the way to Sammy is an MSD, and then the two at the end are SDs. So yeah, I have some variations, mainly in MSDs, but luckily I do have one of almost every size except for a mini, or a tiny, and like a huge boy. So a lot of them are pretty similar in height, but I thought they would just be interesting to look at based off of their proportions, how they look. I also thought it would be useful for people, again, with just dimensions and proportions, because recently I had a little bit of like a funny instance with proportions with my doll she RCing, so I thought this would all be a pretty good example of that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, we're gonna move up a little bit so we can look at Emma. The lighting isn't gonna be the greatest down here, but that's okay. Alright, so Emma is Little Feet Auntie. I'm gonna go over all their sculpts just so you guys know, and then we're gonna go over their height in centimeters and inches, because I'm sure that a lot of Americans are watching this, and that was one of the main struggles for me when getting into the hobby, was recognizing what centimeters are. Although now that I've been in it for a while, I kind of know what centimeters are in dolls, but I can't really picture centimeters otherwise, because America has to be special and different. Anyways, so yes, this little tan girl here is a Little Feet Auntie. She is, why did I sound like Australian for a second? She's about 25 centimeters, which is about 9.8 inches, about 10 inches. So yeah, she's pretty small. People oftentimes use them to represent children, I also used her to represent a child. Now you can use these dolls to represent whatever age range you want, but one thing that is very common is artists will base these dolls off of what they think age-wise should be. So MSDs oftentimes look like teenagers or children, YOSDs oftentimes look like children, and then SDs oftentimes look like adults or teenagers. So yeah, I mean, there's some variation there, but just so you know ahead of time, if you want mature looking MSDs, those are almost always like the artist sculpts, so that can always be a little bit difficult when trying to find certain sculpts that you like. So yeah, YOSDs again are often very cutesy, yeah. Moving on to some of my MSDs, we're gonna, actually maybe all of them. So, down at the bottom here is the boy with all the tattoos. His name is Blaze. He is a a mini fee Mika on the mowing line girl body with a male bust. So yeah, he is 38 centimeters, which is about 15 inches. Yeah, I mean, he has one of the smaller mini fee heads. If you're ever interested in Fairyland, they oftentimes have big heads, but mini fee Mikas actually have smaller heads compared to the rest of the mini fee line. Next is Bethany. She is an Unoa Lucis on a mini fee A-line body, and she is 41 centimeters, which is about 16 inches. I just put her here because her and Quinn are the same height. Quinn is the same height at 41 centimeters, 16 inches, but there are two distinctly different things about them. Their head sizes, so I thought that would be, I mean, their heads aren't that big of a difference, but I thought, you know, it might be a little bit better. And Quinn has heels on, so I thought maybe that would help some people picture what heels are like on BJDs. It gives them some height, or at least that's this in mini fees. It gives them a little bit of height. So she's a tad bit taller than Beth. Then this very beautiful tan girl who cannot stand for the life of her, but that is not the Eiffel House Company's fault. It is the recaster's fault. Yes, she's a recast. The recast company fucked up her drummeling inside of her hip area, so her stringing is horrible. So, just to clarify, that's the reason why she has a stand. She is an Eiffel House Violet. This is Farah. She's about 42.5 centimeters, which is 16.7 inches, pretty much 17 inches. So I think you can kind of start to see the trend of them looking a lot more youthful in some of them, although Farah, in my opinion, does look a little bit older. You know, Quinn, Beth, Blaze has just a bunch of makeup on, do look like teenagers, I think. I mean, mini fees could probably pass as children, honestly. Next is this boy. He is a mini fee Mika on an unknown body. I do not know what MSD body this is. I do apologize. It's a recast body that I found online. He is 44 centimeters, which is 17 inches, and he's a mini fee Mika on, again, a random body. I thought this would just be interesting to see that you can hybrid dolls, which I wanted to talk about too in this video, but we will in a moment, because I do have a couple hybrids in this group. So yeah. And then we have my doll sheet Arsene on a doll sheet body. I just got him. This is Maverick. He's 44 centimeters, which is about 17 inches. And him and Alfie are the same size. I don't know why I put one side on the other. Although it does, Alfie's head might give him a little bit extra height because his head is so small, which again is why I kind of also want to discuss proportions, because you also need to think about that when buying dolls and pairing them together, which I never really thought about, is their proportions and their sizes and what might look odd together. So oftentimes I see people trying, I almost did this too, trying to get an MSD and an SD and wanting them to be together because you like the way a male doll looks, but you love the way a female or another male doll looks and you want them to be together. Oftentimes that can make a little bit of an awkward thing. And that is my current dilemma with this boy, is he's an MSD, but his head is so small. So anytime you buy a doll, you need to look at their dimensions, which should be listed on the company website or wherever you're getting the doll. It should be listed, and if it isn't, then you need to Google it. Do not ask me any questions as to what eye sizes are, wig sizes are. I have no idea. Moving on is my Island doll Shukaku, Sammy. He's very yellow. I kind of just noticed that when undressing him. So yeah, he is an Island doll Shukaku. He is 45 centimeters, so he's my tallest MSD. He is 18 inches, and yeah, his head is pretty big now that I'm looking at him. Compared to these three, he is the biggest head. So yeah, again, that just kind of helps out with the dimensions and everything. But as you can tell, body type wise, all the MSDs go together. Like, they're all very proportionate to each other, of course, other than the doll Arsene's head. Their hands are all pretty similar sizes. Their feet do vary in size, which is a little bit of a struggle when owning any kind of doll, except for maybe Yellowsteins. That might be a little bit easier. But their feet, man, they all are different. It is very hard trying to find MSD shoes, which is, again, why you need to look at your dimensions when ordering things. I have bought so many things, like shoe-wise, that are way too big for Alfie, that don't even fit her, that are like, it's rough. So again, you really need to think about that when buying a doll. That way you don't end up getting something and getting like mad about it, you know? It honestly isn't that hard to maybe write down your doll's dimensions. That way you have it on you at all times, and when you're looking to buy things, just look to that, and whatever website you're on should have the clothing dimensions, and if it doesn't, then don't buy from them. Okay, so here are my SDs, and the reason why I picked these two is because I feel like they honestly, like, the Doll Chateau is such a weird type of company, but I thought it would be cool comparing them to a doll with normal proportions, although what's normal? But you know, Doll Chateau does normally have very long limbs, very skinny, so I just thought that would be a good comparison. So Periwinkle, who is this tall girl with all the tattoos, is 55 centimeters, but she is 58 centimeters with all of her extra joints, but I didn't want to put those in because she doesn't really stand well with them, and they're kind of hard to put back on. She oftentimes has extra ankle joints and an extra neck joint, so she'll normally be about 58 centimeters, and then Trevor is 58 centimeters, although he doesn't really look like it. I don't really think he is, honestly. I feel like he isn't. I feel like they're the same height. But he is, oh, she's a Doll Chateau Stacy. He is a Switch Shiho on a Sepia doll girl body. So yeah, he's a boy head on a girl body, which is one thing you can do, but when hybriding, he's a hybrid, Alfie's a hybrid, who else is a hybrid? I guess, he's from the same company, so he's not really a hybrid, but those are my two hybrids, and whenever you are purchasing a doll and you want to hybrid them, you really need to think about dimensions with this too, because of neck proportions. So neck proportions vary in a lot of dolls. For example, I couldn't put Quinn on Farrah's body because her neck circumference, Farrah's neck circumference is bigger than Quinn's neck circumference. So that is one thing you need to pay attention to when wanting to hybrid dolls. That'll make your life so much easier. So again, maybe you write down your doll's dimensions on a piece of paper. If you have a lot of them, type it out, keep it somewhere, because I hate having to Google them, so yeah. Anyways, now I'm going to be comparing myself to one of each of my dolls. I'm going to be comparing myself to one of my SDs, maybe a couple of my MSDs, and my YoSD. So I'm going to be standing up next to them, and I just want you guys to get a good visual look of that. And on top of that, I am also going to be grabbing like a Monster High doll, a Barbie doll, and maybe an American Girl doll, just to give you guys a really good idea as to how tall these dolls actually are, because that can always be so helpful. I remember whenever I was buying a doll, I didn't know if I should buy an MSD or an SD or a YoSD. I didn't know, and I ended up going with MSD, and I'm pretty happy with my choice. Okay, so here is different sizes of dolls. I picked out 3 MSDs, my YoSD, and 1 SD. I only chose 3 MSDs because I have so many of them, and I just want to pick some varying sizes. So, yes, that is a Monster High with each of these kinds of dolls. She's about the same height as a YoSD. Let me get a little bit closer. You guys might have to see a little bit of me, just to get a good viewing of this. Yeah, she's about the same height as YoSD. She's a little bit shorter than a Barbie, so I don't know how tall they are, maybe like 10 inches. Yeah. And then that's her compared to an SD. So yeah, that's the Monster High. And then here's the Barbie. Barbies are 12 inches. I don't know what that is in centimeters. Oh, well, I guess, I guess like 27 centimeters? I don't know. So yeah, she goes up to about my mini Fee's waist. A little bit higher, a little bit taller than the YoSD, and a about to the mid-thigh on my SD. So there's that. I'm gonna leave them here so you guys can just see them. And then I know that American Girls are 18 inches, so she'll be about the size of a MSD. Right? Let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, she should be about the same size as Sammy. She does look a little bit, yeah, they're about the same size. So yeah, if that helps anyone with that department of news. This American Girl doll was given to me by an amazing person. Thank you so much, I love her. So yeah. And now we're gonna do me next to all these dolls. So I'm gonna back the camera up and we're gonna look at me next to all of them. I'm only 5'1" in feet and inches. I don't know how many centimeters I am. I'll convert it. But yeah, so let's get started on this. Now we're just gonna see me. Here I am next to the BJDs. Now I hope you guys can see my whole body. You probably still can't. I know you can see all this in front. But here I am next to the rest of my dolls. So yeah. I will back